Hello everybody. We're starting a bit early, but I just got bored of waiting for the clock at the bottom of my screen to say 16:00. So let's maybe talk for a couple of minutes. First of all, as usual, let's get some feedback on picture quality, audio quality, things of that nature. Everything okay? Let me know. I have the chat open there, so I'll be keeping an eye on that. As you know, we've been doing the VI commentary from this studio, and we will continue doing VI coverage from tomorrow onwards until the tournament ends. Seems good, says Nubs. Yeah, that's good to know. So we can start playing chess at some point. Yeah, I haven't actually played much chess at all in 2019 so far, and this will continue being a trend, I feel, for the remainder of the year. But looking forward to this, and it will definitely go 2 hours, might go 2.5, depending on how depressed I am with the state of my game and with the amount of beating I receive from the public. And on that note, chat is open, as I mentioned. Let me try and switch this around a little bit so that I don't have to lean so far to the right to read it. And will there be a quiz during this Banter Blitz? If you want the quiz with no answers and no possibility of winning, yeah, and Mr. Dodgy is with the correct answer as usual. How is Raven like a writing desk? Is exactly the question that is properly answered by Luke Van Veli. There will be no quiz. There will just be playing chess and hopefully some chat interaction. And on that note, let's get to that. And I chose this diagram because it's. I lost the first 3 games of that mini match horribly, but this one I did win, so I thought it will cheer me up a little bit to see a game I actually won last year. All right, and hi to Lore. I got you a fella today in the new premiums. You might see some one familiar name in chat tomorrow, or not, depending on whether he decides to watch or not. But the fame of this website is spreading. Theater mode function is indeed a very nice one. I like theater mode. All right, let's start playing then. I saw some people with alarming news on how much time they have left and all that, so I'll try as usual. This question gets asked every time, so let's cover it a little bit. I prefer 3-minute challenges. I mean, there is the in-between option of creating a kind of a handmade 4-minute challenge, which will mean you've actually tried to make it even more pleasant for me, that you get additional brownie points for that. But generally, I prefer 3-minute against slightly weaker opposition, and I can play 5 minutes against stronger players, so that it gives me slightly more leeway to talk. I try to play new nicknames. That wasn't a bowler hat Westwood at 59. That was a Stetson, and that definitely wasn't a bowler. And as I mentioned on Twitter, it's now my son's, and there are some very, very nice pictures which he flat out refused to allow me to publish, which I'm very, very sad about. Comments about today's weather. No, I've retired the whole weather shtick, as I mentioned. What was I saying? I generally try to play people who I don't remember playing previously, but my memory is not all that. So that is a kind of a weird guideline more than anything else. Hello, Dronishgiri. This joke and all kinds of variations on it is extremely fresh, and I applaud you for thinking of it. Anyway, let's go. Let's play somebody who, first of all, I think said that he just got premium today, and secondly, I feel that this might be some kind of a tribute account. So, okay. People always want me to play the King's Gambit, so let's get that out of the way. And also, kind of very early on in the show, this gives us an opportunity to see sort of how horribly the show will go. Yeah, first of all, like I'm supposed to know something about this, but I really, really don't, which is a problem because I think it's a very serious line against the King's Gambit, and it would help if I knew something about it. But as mentioned, theory of the King's Gambit, I think even d4 already is a mistake. I have a feeling I'm supposed to castle as early as possible instead of this. Is this really a first game of 2019? Semi-official game, I think yes. Maybe even any kind of a game, yes. And Izaki says, wow, I wonder if Peter is an expert on this opening. The answer is no. And it's, I think, quite clear from the way I'm handling it. I think I am sort of significantly worse already. I like this decision to castle. And I like my opponent's position a great deal here. I shouldn't be exactly lost yet, but this pawn on f4 supported by the knight on h5 is going to be a huge problem for me, sort of in perpetuity here. There's just no way to deal with it in any kind of comfortable fashion. And this bishop on c1 is just completely stuck. I don't know why my opponent allowed me to play knight e4. I would have started by playing rook e8. I don't know which rook, but some rook. But also probably he's just very good and he knows what he's doing. That's always a possibility, among other things which are beginning to look very possible here. The typical depression, says Afura Samurai. Yeah, typical depression is setting in very early today. Kind of preparing a square for the rook after the inevitable takes on f3 and bishop h3. But as mentioned, I just kind of really hate my position here. I always have that feeling he wants to be worse in the opening. No, I don't really want to be worse in the opening. That's a very, very huge overstatement of the facts there. But I do know people generally like me playing the King's Gambit, so I am sort of appeasing the King's Gambit demander crowd. But sort of specifically being worse out of the opening, no, not my dream scenario. Something like queen e7, queen h4 might just win here, to be honest, because this king is just very, very underprotected, and I might just lack resources to deal with this. Why are you hiding behind the challenge Paul Borta thingy? That is a good question. I do not know exactly how to answer that, frankly. Yeah, this position is horrible, and actually I would like him to take on e4 twice here, because I think it gives me a better shot, because it kind of frees up my position, and also it will allow me to trade some pieces. So I'm giving him this opportunity to take on e4 many times. And since I was happy with it the other way around, I will be also quite happy with it this way around. And once again, sort of happy is maybe the wrong word to use here. No one really should be happy with this position, but I think it's sort of significantly better than I deserved. And now I might be winning, for all we know. Or at least close to it. Am I though? Would be kind of embarrassing to suddenly blunder something here, but I don't think I am blundering anything. Yeah, where does this king go? Let's say f3. I don't know. I mean, it shouldn't matter a great deal, but maybe it does. I think he kind of has to go queen f8 here, and then I can consolidate. And eventually these endgames will become very, very good for me. Yeah, some endgame like this should be just sort of technically winning. I'm a little disappointed that Peter lacks apparel today. Yeah, I can relate. And Mr. Doji says, clearly Nizahe can't see below the desk. That is a very sharp comment very early in the show, so kudos to Doji there. Haha, fake hoodie, says Taco Tactics. That's very hurtful. That's not a fake hoodie, that's a fleece. I came very close to buying another one, an actual Nakitano hoodie today. I might do it one of the next days, because there's a store at the mall here which sells Nakitano, and I went to see what was on offer. And they no longer sell these things, but they do sell actual hoodies, so I might get myself one. Let's join the bandwagon of people playing f3 against the Najdorf and then not knowing what they're doing. I don't know if there is such a bandwagon, frankly. I think it's just me. I think I'm supposed to put it on e3 here. I don't know if black is supposed to take on d5 this early though, because exactly the moves that he is kind of making my life a lot easier in terms of future prospects. Is that one of the Lay's vodka bottles? It looks like one of the Lay's vodka bottles, doesn't it? But it's not. It's no, this way. Magnus Stillwater. If it was Lay's vodka bottle, it would have said sky, right? Doesn't say sky. So yeah, this is sort of the entire point of white bringing the knight from g1 to c3 instead of playing knight b1 c3. It makes it a lot easier to bring the other knight to c4, specifically after black takes on d5 and allows a Benoni type structure. I think I'm like 5 tempi up on the normal Benoni, in particular because my opponent left the knight on b8, and now it will be very difficult for him to ever play knight d7 because well, the d6 pawn is just too weak. And like in a position like this, you start looking for forced wins, frankly. I don't know if they're there yet, but you definitely start looking for forced wins. Like I don't even want to calculate this, it just feels right. I completely missed queen g7, I will accept, but yeah, it shouldn't really change very much, frankly. I mean, knight b6 is incredibly strong, queen d6 check might be, queen d5 check might be very, very good here. Still looking for something completely decisive, and annoyingly I don't see anything. Let's just play bishop e3 and pretend it's all according to plan. Generally speaking, white doesn't really care about this, about giving up the e-pawn, because he gets, as you can see, I get so many really, really good squares for my pieces here that I'm just sort of stomping all over his position here and already winning an exchange by force because rook d8 is met by knight e6. That's not how you spell sky, Alice Malone, at least not the sky in question. It's a vodka brand which is spelled S-K-Y-Y. I don't drink it, but there is a famous person who does, or at least had drunk one bottle of it at some point in the past. Let's go a5, just sort of on general grounds so that he doesn't play b5 at any point. A man, a plan, a canal, Paul Borta. Yeah, that's exactly how that works. I remember watching a blitz session of Pojelny and Arbakov in the 90s. There were very many suspicious battles. Yeah, I believe that wholeheartedly. I played Arbakov once when he was already, well, he was still very much a cult figure, but I don't think he drank as much at that point as he did in the early days. I mean, he remained obviously an absolute giant of the blitz scene in Russia. What's my opinion on Jacques Kallis? Jacques Kallis was a bit boring, but sort of in terms of playing ability, I don't think there is much doubt he will be one of the greatest all-rounders in history, and not even all-rounders, but just sort of players in general. Why rook a d1? I didn't want to give up the d6 pawn. I am sort of phoning it in here a little bit because the position is so winning. I may have had sort of sharper conversion ideas here, but don't really need them, so I honestly started paying slightly less attention here. And as you can see, I have already played Sacho twice before, so my memory of usernames is really not all it's cracked up to be. Some non-premium trap challenges in the list, which I will need to pay close attention to. As usual, I'll start by playing why knight takes d7, why exchange queens, why knight takes b7, exactly. All the questions. I'll start by playing sort of the higher rated challenges that I see at the top of the list, so as not to do too much scrolling, which kills time, and then we'll proceed to the somewhat lower rated challenges. Do you know Anish is the only host to score 50% in Banter Blitz? I'm pretty sure. Ah, yeah, it's because he only played that thing against Sasha, yeah? There is sort of a point to what Nizahi is saying there. I'm not sure about this d6 move, but white I think should be trying to punish me here with some kind of rook e1, knight d5 ideas. I think what my opponent is doing will turn out to be a bit too slow. I don't know about too weak, but definitely too slow. I'm so low rated that I might gain points by losing, says Lorinda. No, I'm not sure this is how this works. I should be careful. I mean, I have the move knight takes a3 here, but I'm worried about losing to some e5 shenanigans. And I wanted to play rook e8, but I'm still worried about losing to some e5 shenanigans. But I'll go rook e8 anyway. Because in general, playing rook e8, bishop f8 makes my position a lot more manageable. Actually, now it starts looking as if it might not be either too weak or too slow. It's been a while since I've dealt with these positions on the black side. I used to play a lot of g3 Sicilians myself in my youth. And I mean, it really isn't supposed to give mate, but it's less easy to deal with than you would suspect. Finally, I mean, I've been restricting myself for too long. Let's go after this pawn. it's not just the pawn. You also ruin his structure on the queen side by doing this. You create weaknesses for the future. And Easy Rider really doesn't understand how the internets work. He says, after the first 5 rounds of why Kanish has the most decisive games, hopefully stops these dronish jokes for a while. If this, like, if reason or actual stats or anything like that would go into it, like, those jokes would have stopped, I think, 2 years ago. And that has not happened. So I think there's really, like, zero expectation of this ever happening. Anish came within a hair's breadth of winning the GCT in 2017, only did not win it because I think of how the points were counted, because in terms of sort of actual points scored, he was ahead of Magnus. And I mean, really, honestly, by this point, I think I bore myself slightly with the impassioned defense of Anish as a fighting player, because I keep on thinking people will, at some point realize and stop even bringing this up as a subject. But it hasn't happened yet, and I suspect it never will. I did not see his interview the other day. I saw the Lawrence's troll bit. I'll take with the f-pawn because I think one of the very few ways I lose here is by opening up the h file and then allowing some mating attack, even though I don't think it's likely. And yeah, I mean, bishop h3 exists, but I can take with the rook here, creating this huge battery on the long diagonal, and nothing will ever land on e6 because I can play rook c8 next. And Kaliliv says people do realize this is why it's funny to bring up. Maybe that's true. Maybe it's a kind of a meta joke now, and you just do it because why not? But I think the whole discussion has been summed up by Larinda by saying "lol facts." Lol facts is a very apt description for many things. And now I'm doing the scrolling I promised I will not do, but I see some reasonably high rated challenges, but they are from people I have definitely played before, so I'm kind of scrolling through there. Random and custom, it says, so I was wondering if this will be some kind of a 8 knights against 8 knights type situation, but it isn't. Not the most, not my best type of English, this line, but I think I should be okay. Arthritic fingers, have them checked, Peter. How do you know? They're not on screen and I'm scrolling with the mouse, not pressing the down button. I mean, you're right, but how did you know? Can you play the B, asks Fuxia. E4, E5, B3. I definitely can. The question is, shall I? Opponent's disconnected, it says on my screen, which is a bit alarming, but let's hope he gets back. Now let's take a swig from my large bottle of quote-unquote water. Are my sons chess fans, says Taco Tactics. Well, I would hope they are my fans, but even that is frankly not a given. And they don't really care about chess as a game. Am I planning to update my wonderful Grunfeld series in the near future? That's a bit of a painful question because I think it's a very legitimate one, and it would be an interesting project to start looking. And actually, I'm misplaying this horribly. Like knight e5 is extremely strong here, as is b5. My last 5 moves were of a very, very inferior quality. But on the subject of the Grunfeld series, it definitely needs some updating, but by this point I left it so late that it would be a huge project to undertake to try and get it to some kind of a modern state of affairs. And yeah, I'm somewhat worried about undertaking something this. I need to stop b5 before here. Something of this magnitude, but it would definitely be a worthy thing to try and do. Yeah, starting from knight b3, this entire sequence of moves is just absolutely horrible. If he goes queen c7 here, followed by bishop d4, e5, my position is, I would say, close to lost. Because I will have to play bishop e3 and then take on e3 with the pawn, and I will have this really horrible structure in the on the king side. Peter, have your sons ever faced your dad plays board games for a living? Well, sort of, yeah. And in my very short abortive career as a Hearthstone streamer, I think even that kind of gave them more street cred with their peers compared to my chess playing. I have a weird... No, I don't have a weird tactic here. I was about to say I can play queen d3, bishop takes b3, knight d5, and it actually might work. But the problem is queen d3 runs into bishop. Hang on a second, let's try this. It looks like I just blundered a piece, but I don't think I have. Yeah, I think this works. As far as I could determine, this doesn't actually lose. By works, I honestly, I'm aiming not to lose the game on the spot and to make it slightly more complicated. Like on Twitch, says Real Slim Chuck Norris. Yeah, like on Twitch. So the fact that I made Legend numerous times over the course of 2018, I think, was a source of more pride for my children than all of my chess achievements put together. Which is a bit sad, frankly, but that's how it is. And yeah, if the pawn was back on f2, I'd be close to winning. But because of how horribly I played this game, sort of in between, I am clearly not. Although I don't really like knight takes d5. He should have taken on c1 first before taking on d5. Now the pawn on f7 is getting lost. And we have guests in the studio.
How are we doing?
We seem to be doing okay. At least the chat actually replies to things I say, which...
That's good.
It implies that they can hear me, which is supposed to be good news, yeah.
I got complaints from the tech people. They say they want to see more of you.
Yeah, that does make sense.
Will I make you lose on time?
Not really, no.
I'll mess things up. The problem is Tech Jan is not very bright. Don't worry, good people. I'm cutting myself out of the frame.
That's not necessary.
Can I make one move?
Yes, please.
Boom!
Please make that one. Yeah, come on, let me... actually, I want to take on b5, and now I'm less sure about this, but let's go for it anyway. Because I think I escaped the checks here. Well, some checks anyway. Queen a8. That fills me up with optimism.
Playing like we did yesterday, Queen f8.
Yeah, very much like we did in every single respect. So yeah, thanks for doing that, because obviously it's very, very important to let people experience the full glory of my visage. This should be made, right?
I have more tasks they sent me in with. Will I be able to do this?
I do not know.
I might not be able to do it, but try I shall. Wow. That is a big clock. I might have made things worse as usual.
No, I think that's cleaner and better.
Alright, we'll have to do. That's it. Have fun.
Thank you very much. And yeah, let's proceed under the assumption that this improved the quality, at least of the video, if not the gameplay. Do you guys need to dress alike? Asks, yeah, I'm missing the username here. Yasin et Koinan. I'll address this to you. Do we need to dress alike?
I do feel the need to try to match your outfit as closely as possible. Yeah. I'm about to pull the trigger on the earring, but still thinking about it.
I hope you could hear that, and obviously I was copying the look Jan pioneered for many years by buying Nakitanos and wearing Nakitanos non-stop. But yeah, thanks to Jan for playing along there and pretending as if it's the other way around. My sons don't actually play Hearthstone, Peter made me sub. They're aware of the game Hearthstone, and in particular they're aware of, you know, the social accolades streaming on Twitch affords you. Whatever they are. I wish I knew what they were, so I could claim them. Krosky says we need a Chess24 studio video tour someday. I suspect this may have been done at some point, but if not, yeah, maybe. How old are your children? Asks Chuck Norris. My kids are 16 and a half. Sorry about that, Afuro Samurai. I did look for your name, but the list is rather long and I did not see you at the top and did not scroll all the way to check. I did see you saying you only have half an hour. Since this one is not starting, if you're still here, let me see if I can find you. I think they get sorted by sort of in order of, yeah. I wonder if that's too late. Let's hope not, but we managed to do something. I don't know why I play d5. I don't really play this very much. And now people are going to spam I have to go. But Afuro made it a very smart choice by starting to say that way before he actually had to go. So that's I think that's how it's supposed to work. Studio tour would be boring. Everything is white. More surprisingly specific knowledge about our life from people. Yeah, this might not be a bad idea in this position at all, honestly. You normally won this position with the knight on e2, not the knight on f3, which is why I sort of disregarded this option from my opponent, but even with the knight on f3 it makes a decent amount of sense. So yeah, I maybe should have paid some more attention to this precise plan of playing h3, e4, and then playing as if the square on d4 doesn't exist. Yeah. All the I have to go jokes. Get them while they're hot, and so on. I will be needing to go is the correct form, yeah. Chuck Norris knows what's said, what's what, and where it's said, and things of that nature. I'm sorry, but I saw your sons watching some Fortnite streams the other days, Kappa. Yeah, Kappa is not even needed there because they kind of, for reasons not entirely explained to me, they really dislike Fortnite. They used to play TF2. I don't know if that characterizes them well or poorly. But yeah, they aren't Fortnite players. No copyright intended. I was quoting some guy, says Chuck Norris. Yeah, quoting some guy is how things work. Basically, you can if you can find the guy to reliably quote all the time, you're very well set in life. I'm sort of intending to play g5 next move, and I myself am very doubtful this is a wise idea, but it feels like a fun thing to try, so I will try it. Queen d7 threatening to win the h3 pawn. I did consider it snowing, but I probably would not be able to win the h3 pawn there because white, for instance, has king h2 as a very decent reply, and it didn't feel like the move queen d7 was doing very much for me in that position. Yeah, I don't know, like, the problem with playing g5 in this position is you play g5 and then you start asking yourself, why have I done this to myself? And there is really no defined answer to this. Little joke to all the Dmitry Komarov fans out there, of which there are many because I count myself. Whoa, what did I just do? Holy cow. Oh, that was a very important square I was supposed to be covering there. Like, not allowing queen h4 was basically the one thing that my position had going for it. And yeah, this is going to hurt. Just play queen e7. Like, what the... Yeah, I'm very upset. I don't like knight takes d4 though. I think he should have gone knight g5 check there. Not going knight g5 check seems like a very dodgy idea. And this might just lose. Because I have this tactical shot and then this check. How do you even say hello without quoting somewhere, says Perpetual Stalemate. Yeah, that's a very good point. Rip Peter says the real Slim Chuck Norris, you will be missed. I like this second sentiment. Am I now in the Doyle-like category? So that people will spam Rip Peter in any kind of reasonably well populated chat room? While I'm still alive, hopefully. Please pick me up before my boss fires me and I need to start playing chess for a living without any skills. Yeah, that's not something I would wish on anyone, Yasin. I'll have a look. Thanks to you, Zamurai, I think you played quite well, and yeah, not playing knight g5 check in that position was a bit of a gift. Of course, seriously, I am not easily offended. For all the people apologizing for jokes, don't. I generally am very difficult to offend. I don't know why I played queen f6. Why did I play queen f6? Who knows? Queen takes d4. Queen takes d4 is not supposed to be particularly strong in this position, I feel, for whatever reason. I think h6 is probably a mistake, though. Yeah, I don't like h6. I should not have played h6 there. There was some kind of very dodgy reasoning behind it, but it truly is very, very wrong. I mean, it sort of allows me to castle long, but I don't think I need to castle long necessarily so quickly. Does Banter Blitzen feel like streaming? Also, would you like to do more of it? Banter Blitzing is basically streaming. So it feels like it because it frankly is. And would I like to do more of it? Well, not during frankly somewhat exhausting coverage like we are doing right now of Vike, because it does take a lot of energy to do what we're doing, even if it may not look like it occasionally, but it really, really is a difficult task, including physically. But in general, and once again, I understand I make this complaint constantly, and it's a bit of a weird complaint to make for somebody who is, I mean, I would say I'm not in the barely making ends meet category. So if I have problems with equipment, I can just buy new equipment. But yeah, that's basically what's standing between me and more streaming right now. The fact that the notebook I used to stream on has this propensity to die at random intervals for no reason. And streaming when you know that your stream can be cut short by your machine just kind of black screening. It doesn't do the blue screen of death, it just does a black screen of nothingness. And it happens at absolutely random intervals. And that's really not very good if you're planning to develop your stream and so on. A knight on f5 would be hacked off? No, I did not plan to take on f5. I planned to play bishop e6 there and kind of bother the knight on c4 for a bit. He has a reason, but you don't know it. Have you tried talking to it? Understand his problems? Yeah, I think you might be onto something there, Jack Norris. I have actually tried talking to him. I took him to a psychiatrist, and a psychiatrist actually kind of spoke to him for a month, trying to get him to open up and explain why he's behaving the way he's behaving, but to no avail. I missed knight c3, and knight c3 is a very decent move here. I'm having very serious issues with this bishop on f8. It does absolutely nothing. Starting to like very, very severely dislike my position here. Please help me keep my job, says Yasin. Well, I can't accept the challenge from you while I'm playing a game, right? Jack Norris says you're exposing your notebook on the internet. That is suable nowadays, and don't I know it? Talking about the notebook behind his back isn't helping. The notebook, guys, is over there. He can hear every word I'm saying, so it's not exactly behind his back. I'm doing this quite openly, frankly. If I can get some kind of a blockade on the e5 square established here, I will be a happier bunny, but I'm not sure if I have enough time. Like, I want to play c4 here to create this bishop b4 threat idea. Yeah, and this is the issue with this. He has knight c6, and Yeah, maybe I should just play knight e5 in reply. The notebook isn't easily offended. Exactly. Is Jan Peter's boss? Well, yeah, to a very large degree. I'm sort of out of the woods here. I don't know if I'm better already, but I am definitely out of the woods, and maybe I want to start pushing this pawn, this bishop on g3. Hope to get some kind of. Yeah, I don't know if that was so bright on my side, but okay. Don't really like this sequence of moves I just made, but. All our base I belong to Jan, that's for sure, yeah. Should I be worried about him playing g4 here? The answer is probably no. Yeah, I don't think I should be. This is a bit of a restructuring where I get the king to e6 where it kind of belongs, and then I will want to play rook h8 and then rook d8, and he is somewhat out of moves, but yeah, I'm quite happy about him occupying these passive squares. I'm slightly better here, I guess, but probably not enough to win the game if he plays correctly. Peter is a chess mercenary. Yeah. That maybe was intended as a slight, but I will choose to interpret it as a non-slight. I think bishop f2, bishop g3 was some kind of a weird pre-move which kind of backfired, and now I'm winning. Come play Kapdag next year. I played one Kapdag in my life and it looked nice and I enjoyed it, but I haven't been invited back since. And yeah, I mean, I generally don't go where I'm not invited. This may be some kind of a giant level, because after all the tremendous presence in chat, I don't actually see any challenges from Yasin. And I'm now doing, like, I think I've scrolled through like 2/3 to 3/4 of the challenges, and it's still not there. Ah, there it is. Apologies. Alright, and after this one, I guess, well, I'll play some below 2K people. If I invite, would you? Well, very much depends on where you invite me to and what am I supposed to do once I'm there. But yeah, I've seen this Gukesh game and I was very, very impressed. The game Gukesh won to become Grandmaster. It kind of made me wonder why I never played this exact setup against the Moro French. Seems like a very, very sensible setup to me. It's kind of bizarre that for many years I completely ignored that this was possible. Maybe I should take on c5, but I think castling first cannot possibly be a mistake. I can also take on f5 here, and then take on d4 with the piece. c4 he'll castle, and at some point this pawn will start hanging, but maybe that shouldn't worry me. I always try to kind of summon the spirit of Alexander Grishuk when I play these positions with white, because I always tried basing my play of the advanced French on his games. But the big difference here is he always knew what he was doing, and I basically never do. So it's very unlikely to go as well for me as it used to go for him. I will cancel my challenge, says Mark. Please be warned. I stand warned. I think he probably should play g5 here. I don't know. Like I assume g5 is not very good. Yeah, I think not playing g5 in this position is a large mistake. I thought that I will win the g5 pawn if he does that, which is true, but I would also open the h file for him, and I would lose my central pawn on d4. And yeah, I think not going for that is a very, very large misstep by my opponent. Chances of Trent becoming a grandmaster, asks Khaliliv. Well, not zero, but I think he these days pays, well, at least as serious attention to his commenting gigs as he does to his practice, which I think is very sensible, and I applaud him for it. I think it's the correct approach in his shoes. This should be a very good position. I can win some material now, but I don't know if I should. Yeah, I think it's better play. I'm better off playing in a positional fashion. My thoughts on the new Swiss tournament, which gives a candidate spot, and yeah, let's maybe abandon the whole Lawrence topic because it feels like we are kind of incessantly trolling him for no reason, or perhaps some reason, but nonetheless. Yeah, actually, I think maybe b5 was, yeah. I'm falling out of love with my previous choice. This was sort of the idea, trying to put it on c5 and then play kind of with this knight on c5 as a shield, but yeah, I don't think that was correct. I should have thought some more. I suspect my challenge is now too far down the list ever to be found. There is a long list, but despairing like this is not going to help you sell the elephant. Let's put it like this. Yeah, g5 is an interesting option here, because on the one hand, it sort of forces me to take, opening up some square, I mean not squares, but files. But on the other hand, the bishop on e6 is now much less supported, which should give me additional tactical options down the line. And yeah, that scream in all caps was alarming. Are they in Hamburg right now? They are currently, yes, in Hamburg. And there is definitely snow in St. Petersburg, including right now. I've spoken to my wife today. There is really, really large amounts of snow. And it's not really even snow that is the problem. The problem is sort of sleet, and I mean, knight a4 already is kind of close to winning, but I will prepare. Whoa, that is a miss. Luckily for me, if he goes knight c6, I still have moves, but I completely missed knight c6 existed. Last time I watched Lawrence stream, he smashed his desk, says Mr. Dodgy. Yeah, Lawrence is not entirely tilt free. I think that's safe to say. I mean, knight a4 wins a piece now, but I'm kind of mildly worried I might get mated on the other side of the board if I do that. Which makes me want to go for some preventive measures first. Yeah, and obviously, having played rook c3, there is no way I'm taking on g2 at least immediately. He will have to work very, very hard here to force me to take on. That was kind of the point of what I was doing earlier. And now is an interesting question who gets mated first, because I do have a very, very strong attack on the queen side, but I'm not sure if it's faster than what my opponent will be doing on the king side here. I thought knight a6 just wins in this position, but it doesn't win. It gives a couple of checks. I have a perpetual right now. If I play knight a6, he cannot take. He has to go king a8, and I have a perpetual on the on those two squares. But obviously, giving a perpetual here is not like the extent of my hopes and dreams. And I'm wondering if I can get more. There's some really funky stuff I can try. Yeah. I am not at all sure this works. In fact, I think it doesn't, which is kind of regrettable. I wanted to play b6 here. Yeah, let's do the other thing. Okay, let me just check. I'm kind of upset at failing to find mate here. If I go knight d6, it creates no threats. If I go knight a5, there's maybe a threat, but I'm not sure if it's a winning threat. And he goes queen h5 next move, so I need to kind of be giving mate immediately. This is very annoying, because I assumed this was just winning, and looks like I may have been very wrong. And there's also this really weird idea I kind of mentioned in passing, but it really doesn't work. This is very annoying. If he goes queen h5 here, I suspect I actually have to take the perpetual, which is kind of painful. I really messed up in this game. Really, really messed up. I don't know why he's taking. I mean, it gives me the opportunity to go for this endgame, which probably isn't better for me, but still. Maybe he is worried there is mate there, but there really isn't. Yeah, and the endgame is just not better for me. I should take like this. Yeah, I think this is reasonably well played by my opponent. And yeah, I suspect that objectively I should just win the knight here and go for it, and I probably am just winning here. I got a bit too fanciful going for something else here. I should, like in general, just winning a piece is a good idea in positions like this. And here it's a bit surprising to me. One idea I wanted to mention was I almost played this. I can go knight a6 check and then play b6, creating a very large threat of knight c7 check and then ba7. But I couldn't actually, like the knight from c4 never actually lands on c6 here because he has bishop b4. And this is what I missed. I missed precisely the move bishop b4, because if he goes bishop d7 here, I think I'm at least okay, because I have rook c8 check. And he has to take with the rook, and actually I even lose here, because I don't win the rook back. So I got very, very, very confused here, and trying to calculate in this position together with talking is not that easy. Another option, of course, is to go b6, but then he goes a6, and once again, the problem is the threats on the other side of the board are extremely strong. Queen h5 might just win the game if I allow it. And by playing b6, I'm sort of taking away the perpetual from myself. And yeah, I just couldn't make it work somehow. But I mean, the root of my problems, of course, is trying to do something unnecessary in this position. Just pick up this. Pick up this knight by playing knight a4, and I think you win. Just FPS more than anything. Some more silent scrolling going on. I don't know about chess, but Peter is legend in Hearthstone. Exactly. Maybe rook c8 check after bishop e4, says Twiddle G. Yeah, I have that move, but with the bishop on e4, he just takes twice, and there's really I'm sort of out of attackers there. I showed this idea in some other position. He's a legend in his career as a Thatcher. That's an unusual statement. When do you think elite players should retire? The whole Svidler on the roof joke, which has never been done before. How much of a Simpsons fan, quote, are you? Not that much, to be honest, because I made a mistake in regards to The Simpsons in that at some point I decided to binge it sort of from start, which is the only way I binge stuff. And I've gone through like 2.5 seasons in one sitting. And at this point, it really kind of gets to you there. It's too much. I should not have done that. You should watch them at least in some moderation. And ever since that, I haven't actually returned to the material because it just kind of overloaded my brain. How much online poker did you do? A ton. Why is stream in such quality in uppercase Q? Is that high quality or low quality? This is a somewhat strange decision by my opponent because now like he is worse on both sides and should just get completely overrun. Peter might be the only person to binge The Simpsons. I'm pretty sure that's not true. But, well, by binging, I mean, I did make breaks for like sleep and food, but I canceled all other like TV watching projects and started watching The Simpsons. And yeah, that wasn't the greatest idea in the world. I once watched all the Monty Python episodes in 2 days. Yeah, I can imagine this messing with your brain a little bit. I think I buy that story. My thoughts on the Swiss tournament. Yeah, I kind of started answering that and then stopped. I think it's a very good idea. I think it gives more people a shot. Obviously not a large shot because of the nature of the tournament and I mean, it's going to be a huge Swiss with one place as far as I understand the rules, right? One qualifying place for a huge number of people. So I mean, nobody is a favorite to qualify from that. But it still gives more exposure and more chances to people who would otherwise not really get to compete for, in the title. So both the World Cup and the Grand Swiss are I think very, very good ideas for that specific reason, that it gives a shot to the people who would otherwise be sort of a lot more hard pressed to to compete in the cycle. I should be better here, but yeah, I'm not sure about h3. I played h3 sort of with the specific intention of playing e5 in this position, but I'm now starting to wonder if that was over-optimistic. And I should have, like, if I want to play e5, I should have started with d6, c5, of course. There's really absolutely no reason for me to give him additional options, which is what I've done. Yeah, that was, like, significantly stupid. That was me kind of talking instead of thinking. Slightly annoyed at myself here because I actually even came to that conclusion and then played e5 anyway, which is really not the way these things are supposed to work. I might still be okay and I might even still be better, but that was a very significant misplay because I could have had a much more quiet situation in the center, which would have been a lot easier to control. And Mark Stephenson says, I've been binge watching Jan, who I've discovered a month ago. What a talent. I do not disagree. Even rook b7 followed by bishop e4 looks incredibly tempting here, but let's go with the... No, hang on a second. He has knight c3. No, he doesn't. Have I read the article from FIDE, New FIDE, first 100 days? No, I don't generally read the FIDE press releases, but I mean, I can form my own opinions, and they are so far kind of guardedly favorable. I think they were some things that could have been handled better, but sort of more generally speaking, they've been doing a very good job. I'm kind of wondering how I should resolve this situation in the center, because I will end up with extra material more or less regardless of what I do. I think I should just castle, because it's kind of important to get the king away from the center, and then we can go for this. And the real Slim Chuck Norris is pulling off the old, I have a 200-word essay due tomorrow, and here I am watching Twitch scam. I'm not buying it. Yeah, this is kind of worrying, because I might not be better here very easily. In these types of positions, like if you extinguish control, yeah, I don't know about e5. I thought rook e8 was more. Hang on a second, I might be doing very well here. I should also start playing faster, which is like the usual problem with these things. Yeah, I will lose this game on time. Bishop b4 is not a good move, but I kind of got flustered there. And now I missed rook c3, so yeah, I'm misplaying this quite horribly, but it's not a huge surprise. Actually, maybe I'm back to being okay. He plays rook c3, I can play like queen b2. Can I get out of that pin with dividends? Because honestly, I think by this point I should be taking a draw. The way the time situation is, I probably should be taking a draw here. I might be winning in this position, but then again, like, I don't see how. And on 18 seconds, like, if I don't have an immediate win here and I allow rook takes d7, if there's no immediate shot and the pawn on d7 is gone, I will just lose. But yeah, the sequence from c4 e6 was not played correctly by me. I didn't want to end up having to play king f1. Like if I take and go, I don't know, bishop c2, he takes on d4, If I allow d5, I'm worse, and if I take on d6 here, he goes rook e8, and I will have to place the king on f1. This is what was worrying me. But the way it came out in this position, maybe I'm just short one tempo somewhere, and I'm not better. And after e5, I very seriously considered giving up this material. But then he goes king h8, and I think I am one piece short in this attack, because I have like queen b7, but he has exactly queen g7, stopping my threats, and then I'm 2 exchanges down. So yeah, that doesn't quite work. And the return to FIDE, I think the Rapid and Blitz. Could black have played f5 after e6? I honestly did not notice this was a move. Good spot by Oli. Yeah, could have and probably should have played f5. Yeah, that's a huge miss by me. I mean, the World Rapid and Blitz in St. Petersburg was extremely well organized. Really, really enjoyable tournament for both the players and the spectators. And some of the new ideas connected to the cycle and to the things in general seem to be quite promising. And obviously there will be people who are unhappy with things. There was some controversy connected with the way the women's next cycle is organized. So definitely not everybody is happy, but I think making everybody happy these days is very, very difficult. Jan said this gives white an advantage, so I'll go for this. I do not have any idea why this gives white any advantage, so this probably will not go very well for me, but Jan mentioned on air yesterday that he thinks this gives white an edge. So I'm going to blame him if this goes south. Toilets could have been better though, source Sasha. Toilets were fine, they were just far away. I played in the tournament, so I mean, I understand Sasha is the world's largest authority on all things toilet related, but seriously, the toilets themselves were perfectly fine. I expected them to be sort of too small for a tournament of this size, like in terms of queues and things, but did not seem to be as much of a problem as it could have been. And yeah, the one issue that was definitely present was the distance. Yeah, I missed queen a4, as I now realize. But this is a problem with playing the Benko against somebody who knows what he's doing, because you're going to end up looking very stupid. I can play b3, rook b3, knight c3, but it actually loses to rook takes c3, which is a bit annoying because I don't really want to lose. And then b3 doesn't make any sense. I can play b3 and h3 maybe? No, but then he will just go with the rook. Yeah, this is a very, very unpleasant miss, which kind of derails my previous play. I suspect I should not have allowed knight g4 at all. I suspect rook e1 was just imprecise, should have played h3. Then again, I don't know why I'm complaining. I can always actually fall back on the whole let's blame Jan idea. Yeah, I'm going to end up being quite significantly worse here, I'm pretty sure. After knight d3, for instance. Like, despite, as usual in the Benkos, nobody really cares I'm a pawn up. As long as black has all these jumps. What kind of book do you read? I'm a very, very non-discriminating reader, would be the way to describe it, I guess. I am currently reading the Commonweal series. which is some of the weird literature I ever read in my life. And if you know me at all, you will realize this is a compliment. I really like weird movies and weird books and generally non-standard, challenging things of all kinds. I might not be doing so horribly here, who knows. Once again, I lack, as I mentioned on air, I lack proper calibration to evaluate Benko positions. Yeah, a4 and put a knight on b5 is definitely something to look forward to in the future, but I don't think I should be doing it right now. It allows black too many good squares. Then again, I'm not sure what I should be aiming for. If I play f4, he will play f5. This way I'm kind of allowing c4. I should be paying more attention to c4 breaks. He might even play it straight away. I don't really like knight b6 because then I can meet c4 with... and also he allows e5 this way. I think that probably is not something he should be doing. Whoa, I missed that this existed? I don't know how unhappy I am about it though. Maybe quite seriously unhappy actually. Let's not lose on time. Yeah, that wasn't such a poor game, and maybe I was much better at some point. I also think I was probably worse at some point. So all in all, a reasonably well played Benko by somebody who is struggling to figure out things which are really supposed to know. Serious Peter mode activated. Well, sort of. Not full on serious, but there was some seriousness involved in that game. Serious Peter mode abort. Yeah. Abandon shit. And we blame Jan for introducing all kinds of bad language on this show. Pawn pusher, are you abusing me? Why would pawn pusher abuse my previous... Yeah, I don't really understand what that is. Kind of makes me wonder. Svidler drinks Magnus water, plays c5, knight c6. Yeah. Yeah, you caught me. Serious mode abort, sips vodka. Yeah, that's it. That's exactly it. Sort of really weirded out by the idea that somebody asking an opening question is abusing anyone at all. Don't really understand it. What does it mean you lack calibration for the Benko positions? It means that like my that's also something that Jan talks about a lot during our shows, that the way strong players assess positions in particular is all basically pattern recognition. And I don't have enough pattern recognition for Benko positions to trust what I think about them. Like I might think I have nothing and I might be better, and it could be exactly the other way around. Maybe like in the previous game, I thought I misplayed it quite horribly, but maybe I was actually doing okay the whole way through, and maybe I still had something out of the opening. So yeah, this is not some kind of weird preening or whatever. I actually do believe that there are types of positions where, like, it's hard work for me to figure out what's going on. In particular, compared to some other openings where I can more or less do it on autopilot without sort of engaging the brain very much. I'm misplaying this, but once again, this is a very normal problem for me when I'm sort of so winning so early on in the game. And here, I won the piece extremely early, and it kind of makes me switch off. And yeah, that leads to poor quality moves. I kind of feel understanding Benko makes you a better player overall. Yeah, I agree with that statement, Dodgy, but I never really had any reason to study it. I don't play it with black, and I don't really play it with white either. So totally ridiculous to not take the piece there and just play d5 instead of immediate f4. Yeah, I think it probably is stronger. I think it's a good point by Tweedledee. Why did Peter start talking Russian out of nowhere? Did I? This does occasionally happen, and like it's a weird brain fart, which is somewhat rare but not unheard of. But I didn't catch it happening. The reason I didn't do it, Tweedledee, is that I think he can play to f4 there and stop me from winning the piece, but I am still probably close to winning there, so yeah, it wouldn't have been a mistake. Yeah, a bit of a glitch in the matrix, exactly. That is exactly it. Yeah, why fart is censored is something that is beyond me. Yeah, I agree. Are your dreams in English or Russian? I think generally these days more in English, but dreams are very bilingual. Very much depends on the setting and so on the people involved. This is one very sad bishop on a7. Questions regarding sort of the future of the stream and so on shouldn't really be addressed to me, because those are decisions taken by people who are smarter and who also kind of know what's happening with the company. Okay, now this is a particularly sad bishop on a7. And we can make this into a sort of a real object lesson here by trading every single piece. This is a bit of that, there's this famous Capablanca game where he locked down the bishop on h2 with black. He took on f3 and then locked down the bishop on h2. And he took an absolute age winning that position, but the thing is, you kind of always win it anyway. Yeah, and this is just me being a full piece up here. It doesn't really matter that the material is equal on the board, because that bishop is not participating. Yeah, that's not going to get a reaction from me. Actually, bishop d2 is a bit imprecise, but we can kind of correct ourselves later. Draw? No, this is not a draw. I just got offered a draw in this position, which I think is kind of hilarious. I mean, you can actually do it this way. Like there's obviously cleaner ways of doing this, but you can actually just trade off the entire king side and then collect the entire queen side. And I could take on c7 there, but I think sort of the lesson would be better off if I just come up and collect this bishop on b8. Why is it hilarious? Well, I mean, it's one of the more winning positions I've had in my life. So on the whole subject of sort of etiquette and draw offers, this is a position in which offering a draw is. Are you mocking your opponent? Maybe he thinks it's a draw. Hashtag sue Peter. All of these things are correct. I was somewhat mocking my opponent there, and he should sue me. I'm not entirely sure what Dodgy is trying to do here in terms of, like, there are some very, very drawish lines here, but you can also play this blind very seriously for a win with white. Yeah, knight e2 is the way to play sort of properly for a win. I think. I used to play this with white, but I don't really remember any theory anymore. I'll throw in h6 even though I'm not entirely sure I'm supposed to, but yeah, I think Dodgy is not doing this in the most critical manner. Let's put it like this. Well, this is a horrible move though. So he can play c4 here. This is just a waste of any number of tempi. I don't know why he didn't play c4 in reply. I think you really should if you're given the opportunity. I'll have a look, Lars. This is a weirdly played game by Dodgy because he quite clearly knows what's happening in this line, but he's playing, I think, way too timidly. There's absolutely no reason for him to sort of be begging for trades like this. White is sort of never ever worse in positions like this one. In fact, I should probably start paying attention so that I don't drift into a worse position myself. He didn't play c4 because he likes me. Yeah, that's exactly what I was implying there, because there's absolutely zero reason to trust me there that c4 is bad. Yeah, when somebody who is a decent player, and Dodgy, I mean, absolutely like no sarcasm intended there, Dodgy is a decent player. When somebody like Dodgy doesn't play c4 there, it feels like they are, at least on some level, kind of over trusting you on matters of calculation and so on. Playing for a draw with white, Dan's game, says Peter made me sub. Dan's game indeed. He is sort of slowly drifting into a position he might not like, because without the e-file, it will be quite unpleasant for him. What is Mr. Dodgy's rating? It is on your screen, I think, isn't it? I thought it was. He's trying to get mated here. I think we should oblige, right? Because I think he's really working on getting mated here. I don't really like this g3 idea. I could have played d4 even on the previous move. Are you assuming Mr. Dodgy's chess skills? And no real rating. So many shots fired in one chat. Well played by the real Slim Chuck Norris. Dodgy's only goal is to flag you, actually. Well, he's going to struggle here. He can play queen c4, and then I have a choice between a completely winning endgame and continuing a mating attack, or he can do what he did, and then he will get mated. Yeah, but none of this should have happened. I think after my absolutely imbecilic rook b4 and just c2, c4, which is frankly the move white wants to be making in these structures, I suspect I'm significantly worse because I'm more or less giving up to tempi. The rook doesn't belong on b4. The whole rook b8, b4 idea only works if it actually chases the bishop away, which is what he has done eventually. But yeah, just play c4 there. All right. Let's pick something from the bottom of the list. Dodgy showed you mercy, says Chuck Norris. Yeah, I can actually buy that narrative. Yeah, in Soviet Russia, the water drinks you. I was hoping I'd get a Mora, says Dodgy. So I dodged the bullet there? Haha. That's not disrespect. That's I actually scrolled all the way down, and they are not sorted according to rating. I think they're sorted according to the time of the challenge. So it could very easily have been a 2800 player. Are you assuming the direction of the list? Hashtag Sue Peter. Yeah, that hashtag is taking off. And Pike, somewhat late to the party, says that's not water. And that water is called Sky, apparently, says Alice Malone. People are catching on. Okay. The problem with picking challenges from the bottom of the list is people kind of give up and leave the machine, and those games don't happen. But let's try one more. "2800 player like me, cough cough," says just Chuck Norris. Something along those lines. Did I once again abort a game because I didn't make the first move? Oh my god. Did that just happen? People, you should shout at me when this happens. Have I ever read Journey to Petushki? Of course I've read Journey to Petushki. It's a seminal book. Yeah, the knight belongs on... that's actually completely wrong. I should develop this knight to e2. And he should not be playing d5. The pawn does not belong on d5 in this line. He should be playing d6 and f5. I had white, yeah? Ah, no, I did play e4. Okay, then you shouldn't shout at me. Yeah, playing d5 in these structures basically means you give me a weakness which I will be actually very likely to collect in the future, because black just does not have enough efficient defenders here for this pawn. This bishop on g7 will not participate in defense of the d5 pawn, and yeah, the way you look at it, like I will actually show this. I mean, I can pick up different pawns now, but if he plays, let's say, knight e7 here, which I guess he should, or bishop e6, something along those lines, I will show you just how defenseless this pawn is. This is not a good move, but this now is a teachable moment. I am going for like the full teachable moment thing here. Sorry, shouted already, says Taco Tactics. And as you can see, obviously black did not play it particularly precisely, but the pawn is gone by move 16, and this normally is what will happen. It will happen slightly slower than you have seen on your screens here, but it will happen. Black should not be creating this. You can't really call it an isolani, but it's a very, very weak pawn, which you should not be inflicting on yourself. I was at the Tata tournament yesterday in Alkmaar. Pretty nice location. They should go there more often. What do you think? Says Harold van Heringen. As we said on air, the whole idea of helping chess development in the country by having more of these away rounds is a very, very sound one, but it has drawbacks for the players. It definitely does have drawbacks for the players, and it's not just us, spoiled brats complaining about things which do not merit complaining. I could take on f7, but I prefer to completely... Like, rook fc1 can never be a mistake in this position, assuming complete control over everything. I don't know whether it's such a great idea to do more of these per tournament. I think there are 2 this year, and there normally are 2 per tournament. As for Alkmaar being a nice location, yeah, people have been saying that this is a very nice town. I'm not surprised at all. Okay, let me try and locate this. One sec. I'm kind of worried I will miss it, so I'm clicking very slowly, and yeah, I understand this is not sort of prime watching content, but where is it? Supposed to be in there somewhere, and I just, whoops, sorry. Yeah, okay, I'll look again. I'll look again in a moment, but I can't locate this custom challenge Lars mentioned. What is Peter looking for, says Chuck Norris. I was looking for that Lars Brabakken challenge, which is supposed to be amusing in some way. On a top GM level, what's the norm for opening prep? Up to what move on average? I'm not sure about bishop b7 actually. Maybe it's not supposed to go here at all. But yeah, who knows. It very much depends on the line, Gambit. Because there are some lines where you really are supposed to go in very deep due to the nature of the position, because the position is very, very concrete, and if you don't, you're just gonna be giving a huge head start to your opponent who has done his homework. I think this is bad, but I want to play it anyway, so I will. So yeah, in some lines it could very easily go, I don't know, as high as 30. In particular, if let's say 20 are reasonably well known and you start your analysis at around, I don't know, 20, 21. And there are some lines right now which, this definitely applies to. But in some cases, like there are still some reasonably unknown corners of chess theory where you can very much justify stopping at around move 15 and saying, yeah, okay, I kind of like it, and the position is sort of the position is, you know, inconcrete enough to allow you to do it. Yeah, I'm not sure about this trade because I am kind of forcing him to make a very good move in knight e4 and then maybe even g4, g5 later on. I'm kind of worried about g5 here. I'm less worried about c4 to be honest, because although it does make positional sense, I feel like I'm also getting rid of some of my weaknesses and I should be okay. It does make a lot of sense for me to try and trade this knight off though. Like Jordan did prep. No, I mean, let's not fire any shots at Jordan for that game. Jordan's prep, well, I mean, you certainly can argue he could have done better in terms of preparation for that game, but mainly it was just a very, very risky choice. Kind of a meta choice for going for this line was extremely risky against Magnus after all the work they've done looking at this for the match. Lots of my Grunfeld prep goes past move 30, yes. Well, lots is an overstatement, I think, but some of it definitely does, yeah. F4 I think was slightly over-optimistic, and also, like, he should have tried doing a Queen A7 maybe was winning on the spot there. I'm kind of annoyed. I'll play it anyway, next move. But I think it was much stronger on the previous move. Maybe it was just, yeah, it was ending the game. Because then I could play e takes f4 and collect the whole rook. So yeah, not playing Queen A7 on the previous move is kind of a criminal offense. I'm still winning, but people who yeah, actually I should kind of make sure I don't blunder Queen takes f4. I almost played Queen a1 check followed by Rook a2 there, and then after Queen takes f4 I kind of resigned. That would be a how to phrase this, something not to do. Yeah, and what I'm doing here is taking like extra care not to allow anything to land on e8. Which should secure me against those shenanigans with the Queen takes f4. Bishop e2 is a gorgeous move, but it's probably not a good one, snowing. Yeah, it's very nice looking, which is why I made it. But I think objectively there are much stronger options there. Okay, I will finally go for this. Actually, I probably shouldn't have. Yeah, I'm making it extremely difficult on myself for really no reason that I can see. This is now an actual game I have to win. I mean, my opponent should have been sort of nowhere near this game. The position was so winning. First of all, I mean, Queen a7 actually kind of was winning the house there. I could just collect everything by playing Queen a7 one move earlier, but even if you ignore that, like afterwards, there's absolutely no way my opponent should have been anywhere near this game. Could you make a video series on something like how to play with initiative? Yeah, that was an idea I considered at one point, because if I know sort of how to do something in chess, it probably is that, how to play positions with significant amounts of initiative. Would like to win this game first though. Like, I'm just getting progressively annoyed at myself, and it's not a very good feeling. Okay, now we will win. That was kind of the point of me playing King e7, King e6, but sort of on more general terms, like this game lasted about 25 moves longer than it should have done. That would be amazing, like Christmas and birthday together. What do we think about the poor people who have a birthday, their birthday on Christmas Day? They are deprived. Pity them. They obviously get twice as many presents. I'm not sure how that works actually. I think people might be stingy on that count. If Jan was more dedicated to trolling, he'd record a 10-hour series on winning a rook up. Are you accepting challenges from under 2000s or no? Yes. I played a number of those games already. Jesus has Christmas and birthday together, says Perpetual Stalemate. Actually, kind of no. Not that, you know, it's a topic that will earn me very many admirers, but I think historians have shown, due to astronomical data and blah blah, that the Star of Bethlehem, and I'm probably mispronouncing that horribly, they've kind of traced astronomical data on this, and it's not in December. The astronomical event that this story describes is not in December, as far as I know. So, kind of no. But then again, like, do we care? I think d5 was a very large mistake in these types of structures, because you're killing off your own bishop on g2 whilst at the same time making my bishop on g7 very, very happy about events. I can probably actually switch to giving mate by playing g6, g5 at a good moment, but I'm sort of not in a hurry. How do you make quick positional decisions like c4 after rook b4 in that other game? That's not a positional decision. c4 is just a move that white generally plans to make in those types of positions, and I gave Dodgy additional tempi to play it. So I wouldn't describe that as a positional decision necessarily. It's just like I gave him, you know, a gift of 2 tempi, and he refused to accept it, which is very, very hurtful. Perpetual Stalemate says, this may be the only scientifically inaccurate fact in the Bible. How dare you? Yeah, this worked out a lot better than I had sort of any right to expect, because I have a very pleasant choice of either giving mate or winning a lot of material, and you know, both are obviously very, very nice things. Is there some green in Peter's hair, or is it just sparkling today? I think it's the screen. Sadly, exciting new things stopped happening to my hair a while ago. Some new things are happening to it, but they aren't exciting or good or new. It's his sparkling personality, says Niels Rowe. I'm just gonna leave it there. We all know it's not true. Peter put the hand lotion on his hair, maybe, says Westwooder. Yeah, this is why we're building this community, so that people can make sort of long-running gags about hand lotion. Whoa, h3, h5. This is probably not great. You have to assume this is probably not great, because like allowing me, although you can maybe now switch to, yeah, I'm probably not doing this right. Also, maybe I'm getting trolled here by somebody who is just very, very good. Okay. I kind of value the option of playing g4 more than I value stopping before for one move. Let's not lose anything in the center for now. I want to play g5, g6. He probably should stop g5, g6 somehow. Yeah, sadly I will have to sort of switch to some kind of positional rails here. At least for, well, I completely missed this existed. I should probably start paying attention, because this is quite obviously somebody who is very, very decent. And this is a horrible move, because he can take and then go c4. And like, one thing I had going for my position was that c4 was not possible. And now it is. Interesting. I would have snapped play c4 in his shoes in that position, but maybe he is right. Maybe it's not required. Yeah, I'm not doing this right. I'm pretty sure I must have had, like, h3, h5 is really not supposed to be that great. It's not supposed to give black such a dream position that, you know, I've allowed here. I'm still doing sort of okay, but I'm annoyed at myself because, yeah, I mean, this is fine for me, but it is also very fine for him, and h4, h5 should be punishable. Yeah, bishop c4 looked interesting, but the thing about bishop c4 there is that, yeah, exactly, he goes knight d7 and then it gets chased away. This is exactly the point. J.D. Kenny is completely correct on that, and that is the reason why I chose not to do it. But it may still have been correct very easily. I don't pretend to actually know the answer on that topic, but there was reasonably sound reasoning. Sounds extremely horrible. I'm kind of better here. Oh, yeah. Well, I'm still better. I forgot I also attacked this guy. Yeah, that's not better, that's just winning, but... Okay. Let's not blunder anything. Yeah, interesting opening which I did not react to properly. Like my eyes kind of lit up here because like if black plays h5 against h3, there should be so many things which are excellent for white, but I probably chose the wrong one. Did you just assume? Yes, I assume many things. Let's take another stab at locating this challenge from Lars, but like, where is it? Ah, there it is. Found it. Okay. No, but I should be completely winning. This is not fun. Right? I have queen and 2 rooks for... No, I should just be completely winning here. You could have let him join the Night's Watch instead. Yeah, that is true, but... Peter, will you watch India versus Australia match today? I have some... Ah, okay, I cannot castle. If I cannot castle, it becomes slightly trickier. I have some dinner plans, but like I would need to check. Let me just briefly check. Exactly when is it? If I can find it somewhere. Fixtures and results. Ah, it's sort of very, very late at night, yeah? We'll probably be sleeping, I guess. I haven't watched a ton of live cricket recently. Actually, I don't like this d5 move. I think it, yeah, this is a good idea because it forces me into this structure where my bishop will be a bit useless. 9:20 Eastern, it doesn't really help me very much. If you give me a Central European, but I think I can sort of figure out what Central European is. It's like, it starts in maybe a couple of hours or something. But yes, yeah, I will lose this game now. Hang on a sec, maybe I just misevaluated the original material situation. I'm very, very surprised he didn't play knight f4 there on the previous move. He would have just collected the d5 pawn. So yeah, something starting in a couple of hours. I probably would have watched under normal circumstances, but I am also kind of half hoping to watch Zigso play in the Artifact tournament. And I have dinner plans, as mentioned. Yeah, we should start giving up some pieces now. So what's the material situation now? I have queen and rook for 4 knights. So I'm sort of ahead, but not by much. And so far we only traded material, right? So I think maybe I just misunderstood how far ahead I was in the starting position. And this kind of impacted my... Ah, there he is. Yeah, I really was planning to watch you, yeah. I misevaluated how far ahead I was in the beginning, and that sort of severely impacted how seriously I took the opening in this game. Because I assumed, like, if I play normally and don't blunder queens, I will win. But that, I suspect, was incorrect. But I am, I think, winning now. Yeah. I think I am winning now. That's a good challenge by Lars, because it kind of taught me something. I'm not sure those what's the word? Actually, that's a very clever idea. Knight a1 and take on b3. Do I even win this now? Maybe I don't. Maybe he just has a very easy what's the word? Fortress. Yeah, I mean, he's probably better now. If anyone is better here, he probably is better now. Okay. Can I play h5 here and not lose? h5, he goes knight g7 check. Yeah, this is extremely stable. Yeah, okay, I'm not gonna... I can obviously win this on time, but I think flagging somebody after a reasonably well played game after such a specifically well crafted challenge would be kind of breaking the etiquette a little bit. And I specifically missed knight a1, knight b3 here, because I can start by queen takes a2, and I think I'm a large favorite to win. But I thought that I know not only do I win one of those knights, I also thought that I keep the b4 pawn alive, and then I should break through. But yeah, the fact that he goes knight a1, b3, knight takes b3, and if I take on c2 is check, he gets to connect his knights by playing knight g2. I did miss that idea completely, and after that I think the knights just hold very, very easily. The knights are extremely powerful, and in fact I think some position like this, if he is not so short on time, he might try playing for a win. Although probably not. Who knows? But yeah, thanks for that challenge. That was interesting, trying to figure out what was happening. And once again, another point I kind of brought up during the show. If you play knight f4 here, you collect the central pawn on d5, and then you can start marching. And yeah, I have a feeling, had he played knight f4 here, I would have lost. Flogging so many horses. Feeding a fat horse, indeed. Back to what passes for normal on this show. I actually gained some rating today. That's mildly surprising. I keep on playing a3 in this position and then not knowing what I'm doing, which is, I think, sort of a weird combination of things to do. I think I'm supposed to go for some kind of early c4 here. The problem is I might just not be fast enough, and I may have blundered some kind of knight takes e5 tactics here, which just win on the spot because the rook on a1 gets lost. So yeah, okay, if he goes knight c5, my previous play is entirely justified, and I immediately feel very happy about my position. But yeah, knight, like in this position, he can take on e5 twice, and if I take with the queen in the end, he goes bishop g4 and then picks up the rook on a1 and wins. So yeah, previous play would have been more or less completely refuted by that little bit of tactics. Do I play 5-minute games? I do in general, although towards the end of the stream, and this is getting towards the end of the stream, I do prefer 3 minutes because, yeah, like, what am I doing here? I might still be able to save the material, but this is the reason I'm playing 3 minutes now. Because I can barely hold concentration enough to play 3-minute chess. And for 5 minutes it just feels like eternity. But yeah, first of all, probably not putting knight on c3 in the first place was advisable. Now I blundered knight f4, but there's queen e4 luckily for me. Let's centralize for one move. And I think my opponent may have heard me saying I blundered knight f4, but not all blunders are born equal. This blunder was quite benign. I made a 4-minute one. Sniff, says Dream Sold. Yeah, let me have a look. I think I'm winning here. There's a variation I'm trying to calculate, but maybe I just shouldn't, considering where we are in terms of this stream. Like, I have a feeling I should be breaking through here and just winning, but once again, yeah, knight of d7 is not the way to go. That was a very, very important knight, which needed to go to g6 in a position like this. You're not going to defend this with this knight on d7. Yeah, slightly prosaic end to the game, but it kind of illustrates why I said I'm giving mate here. And now I will get to make a very nice move. Oh, no, that's a bit of a disappointment. I wanted, in this position after fg5, I wanted to play bishop e7. And I think this is a nice picturesque position, but I was disallowed. I like the sniff. The sniff was the biggest seller in that message Dream Sold. What's my highest legend rank in HS? I never finished the season well, but I was somewhere around like one season when I sort of try-harded. I got to 400, and then I got it all fed back to me. When I logged in, I believe yesterday, Yevgeny Tomashevsky was hovering around the 100 mark. I'll have a look, Big Bad Wolf. By this point, I think, yeah, I don't know why I played c4. I don't generally play c4 in this position, but once again, why not? Do I think Anand will still deliver at the highest level chess? I don't think he will be able to reclaim like the absolute heights of his achievement that we all remember. But I mean, he can still definitely win tournaments, and he can win very, very large tournaments, as we have seen when he won the World Rapid in 2017. But he's unlikely to dominate world chess to the extent that he was an absolutely dominating figure at some point. So yeah, missing 95 in these positions generally is very, very lethal. because you end up with positions like this, which is, well, you can see for yourself. It's a very standard tactic, but it's still possible to fall for it. I actually once blundered it myself against Kamsky, and the game also didn't last very long after that. So let's bring that knight over to d5. I'm not saying it's the same person, but nobody saw Evgeny and Tom 602 to 9 at the same place. Yeah, you may have a point there. I sort of do know what Evgeny looks like though, and I have seen Tom reasonably up close during that tournament that he won, that little tournament in Amsterdam. That was very, very upsetting though. Keeping UI with no ramp in hand is just basically saying my account has been boosted and I am not worried about anything. Whoa, I forgot F5 existed. That's yeah. Once again, I sort of tuned out because you know, I have a protected extra pawn on c6, and I think you can be sort of excused for tuning out here. But yeah, allowing all this was completely unnecessary. How do we win this position? The answer is now probably slowly, which is a bit regrettable because the game was effectively over by move 15 and we're still playing it. But yeah, okay. I will I think eventually get there. I'm not sure about a5 though, because it does allow me to play bishop b6 next, but he managed to lock out my light squared bishop efficiently enough that I might struggle to make progress here. Okay, not anymore. This sort of very effectively unlocks my light squared bishop and the game finishes. Quick pick, Rihanna or Ariana Grande. Don't really know enough of those wonderful ladies to compare. There was something in there. Who was it? Hang on a sec. I am. Let me just scroll a little bit. I know how you love me scrolling and just staring at the fixed space on the screen and not doing anything. And then being unable to locate the challenge I'm looking for anyway. Yeah, all the good things. Ah, there it is. Okay, let's go. Whoops, sorry about that. I don't think you're supposed to play g6, bishop g7 against the 4 pawns, but my opponent seems to be very convinced in what he is doing. I'll take Aretha on that one to Tweedledee. But once again, I think mainly because I know her a lot better than Etta. Should I allowed c5 here? I might be like, yeah, I'm trying very hard not to get any advantage at all out of the opening, which is probably not the prescribed way to go about things. If he goes d5 now, he might be completely fine. Yeah, I have done sort of horrible misjustice to misjustice. So yeah, it's time to finish this stream. When things like misjustice start coming out, it really is time to give up. Have I been to the Soviet Arcade Museum, Machine Museum in St. Petersburg? I've heard of it, but I haven't been to... okay. Okay. People having a lot of fun with let's not let Peter castle thing. And this position, if you cannot castle, is probably lost for white. Also, the thing about these things is that you only realize in how much of a, deep doo-doo you are when it's basically too late, because I assumed I could castle here, and like my previous play, horrible as it was very much based on that assumption. If you find out here that you cannot castle, you really are up a creek without a paddle. Time to end the stream before you start in-playing positions. Exactly. No, we are kind of ending the stream pretty soon because I think my friend will be here soon enough and we will go for dinner and things. Actually, after rook c8 h3 I might be completely fine. Rook c8 is just such an inconcrete move in this position. You really should be trying to punish me as fast as possible for the fact that my king is on f1 here. And yeah, rook c8 does absolutely nothing of that. Yeah, I'm not sure about my previous moves. May have been some or all of it may have been a mistake. Really don't like what I did with my position. I should have just taken on d4 with the bishop instead of all this knight b5 nonsense. I've actually weakened some very important squares. Knight e4 is very painful here. Queen h4 is quite painful here. It's just, yeah, that was a horrible misplay by me. Knight e4 in particular here is very, very difficult to meet. d5 is sort of good on general grounds because you need to be opening up files when my king is on f1. That is sort of very, very sound advice. Whether it works tactically or not is the big question here. I'm still about a move away from completely stabilizing. Like g3, king g2 for preference, but even king f2, rook h d1 I think I will take if you pressure me. That might be a very strong move I completely missed. Yeah, that is a very good spot by my opponent because he has knight g3 check afterwards. Oh dear. Yeah, that is excellently played by Mr. Big Bad Wolf. And now we kind of resign. Whoa, queen takes c8. He's letting me off the hook because he could have started with knight g3 check here. I might still be in tremendous amounts of trouble, but like this actually represents an improvement for me because I can do this and maybe this and then d6 and hope that I get some play. Well, more than some play, I'm kind of winning now. But yeah, knight g3 check, I would just have to more or less resign there. Whoa, okay. It's such a pity because he stumbled upon a very beautiful tactical shot which more or less wins on the spot, and then he did not realize the brilliancy of his own idea, because the point is this is still a check. All of these things are happening with checks. So I have to go king g1, he takes on c8 with the queen, and the rook is hanging, and although maybe I can play king h2, knight h1 and knight d6. I did not see it from far away. Maybe I'm not losing. Okay. Alright, probably one last one. One last one, and then I'll head for pastures green. Or at least as green as you can hope for in Hamburg in July. Why did I say July? What is happening with my brain? And Chuck Norris just messaged me, good luck, you will need it. What the hell? I mean, after h4 and king f1, I feel like, you know, playing seriously is not doing justice to the whole thing. So let's keep things lighthearted. Peter looks younger than his icon, says Westwooder 59er. That is a very specific picture. There have been some complaints on Twitter even recently, but I really like this picture. I use it on all social media as well. It's basically my wife decided to take a picture of me, and I kind of noticed in time and made a face, and her immediate reaction upon seeing what came out was to try and delete the picture altogether. And I told her that well, I wanted to pretend I said something manly, but what I did say was, please, please, please don't. And I'm now being told that had I tried to castle, it would not have been allowed. But I honestly did not know that, and I thought after king f1, king g1, castling would have been not in the spirit of the thing. King f1 back. Yeah. So I kind of begged her not to delete it, and then she fiddled with the filters on her phone because she had some program which allowed to add filters to it, and we ended up with this. Result, which I really like for some reason. I think I'm doing well. And I'm also very happy that I didn't even, like, I would have maybe gotten upset that I'm not allowed to castle, but since I never found that out until he chatted it at me in the in-game chat, I feel a lot more sanguine. How do you pronounce that word? Sanguine? What do you think of Jan's predictions for the round tomorrow? Jan is never wrong. That is a very stupid question, because, like, whenever Jan actually bothers to predict something, you just take it and you run with it. Let's try to win by force, maybe? I mean, I can play king h7 and I am completely winning, sort of, positionally, but it's boring. One day I will not tune in your stream when I play against you so I could focus, says Chuck Norris. Sanguine. Yeah, that's not what I said, right? Yeah, okay, let's just play king h7. You don't pronounce that word, you avoid it. Yeah, I think that's very sound advice by Perpetual Stalemate right there. You know the man is not changing his profile picture when he even ignores his wife's request. There is somebody who understands how those dynamics work. Now, King takes e2 is a bit optimistic. This looks so puzzle rushy, says namesake. You are not wrong. It pains me to make such boring winning moves, frankly, but by this point I can't stop myself. All right, I think hashtag Sue Peter, thank you, says the real Slim Chuck Norris. And yeah, thanks to him as well. And I think this will wrap things up. We got a really nice round number, 2950 on the screen. And there probably will be one more banter, maybe two. There's only 2 rest days left. And arguably maybe I would want to spend one of it completely resting, but normally normally that's not how life ends up working, so at least one, maybe two. Once again, thanks for keeping me company in chat, and I hope you enjoyed it. I think it was a decently fun one today. I definitely enjoyed it, and I hope to see all/most of you tomorrow, time allowing, with our continued coverage of the Tata Steel tournament in Vaikanze. See you guys, and have a nice one. And I should probably know what I clicked.